You know, deep beneath one of America's most famous national parks, there's this incredible force of nature. It's something that's totally captured our imagination, and maybe our deepest fears, too. Yep, we're talking about the Yellowstone supervolcano.
So, when you think of Yellowstone, what comes to mind? Probably this, right? Just this absolutely stunning, serene landscape. You've got geysers shooting up, those crazy colorful hot springs, incredible animals. It's just a genuine, real-life natural wonder.
But there's always a but, isn't there? For so many people, all that beauty hides a pretty terrifying question. Is this whole paradise just a ticking time bomb? Is there really a supervolcano down there just biding its time before it, ends the world?
Yeah, that whole ticking time bomb idea, it's a really powerful story, and it's been around for decades. So let's actually break that down.
And honestly, you can't blame people for thinking that way. I mean, for years, Hollywood movies, those dramatic documentaries, and all those crazy headlines have been hammering home this one picture, a massive apocalyptic eruption that's just around the corner.
So, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to slice right through the Hollywood hype and get to the facts. What does the real science actually say? From the people who are literally watching this thing 24/7, the U.S. Geological Survey. What's their take? All right, first things first, we have got to tackle the big one. The misconception that started it all, this whole supereruption myth. So this is the core of the fear, right? The idea that if Yellowstone erupts, it's game over, Armageddon. In fact, the USGS literally calls this misconception number one. And trust me, they have a really good reason for that. Okay, so let's get real. When was the last time Yellowstone even had a volcanic eruption? Think about it. It was 70,000 years ago. But here's the kicker, the part that everyone misses. It wasn't a supereruption, not even close. The USGS says it was a huge but non-explosive lava flow.
And when you look at what's actually likely to happen, it might surprise you. The number one most likely event, it's not the apocalypse. It's something called a hydrothermal explosion. Basically, think of a geyser on steroids. It just clears its throat and launches steam and rocks into the air. The next most likely thing is another one of those lava flows, which is what's happened most of the time in the past. And way down at the bottom of the list, the least likely thing to happen? Yep, a full-blown caldera-forming supereruption.
Okay, so a cataclysmic supereruption is super unlikely. Got it. But what about that other story we hear all the time? The one that says the volcano is waking up, that the threat is growing right now.
This is where we really see the difference between the myth and the reality. The myth says the ground is bulging, the magma chamber is getting ready to pop. But the actual data from the USGS, it shows the exact opposite. Since 2015, the caldera has actually been sinking, and there is zero evidence that the magma chamber is growing.
And just so we're on the same page, when we say caldera, we're not talking about a little crater. I mean, look at this thing. It's enormous. It covers a massive chunk of the park. This is a huge, ancient feature, and believe me, it is being watched like a hawk by scientists.
And that brings me to my favorite word in all of this, overdue. You hear it constantly, right? Yellowstone is overdue. Well, the USGS just shuts that down completely. They basically say that trying to predict an eruption based on just a couple of past events is, and I quote, mathematically inaccurate. Volcanoes are not trains. They don't run on a schedule.
So, if the ground isn't rising and it's not overdue, then what's the deal with all the earthquakes? That's a fair question. Let's dig into how scientists are basically taking the Earth's pulse here.
And yeah, this is a huge one for a lot of folks. You see a headline that says thousands of earthquakes at Yellowstone, and your first thought is, oh man, this is it. But what's really going on down there?
This is where the pros step in. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, or YVO for short. It's not just one group, it's a team-up of 9 different organizations. And they have this park absolutely wired with sensors, watching every little twitch and tremble 24/7.
So just in 2022, they recorded almost 2,500 earthquakes. And yeah, that sounds like a ton. But here's the thing. For Yellowstone, that's just another Tuesday. It's totally normal. The average is between 1,500 and 2,500 quakes a year. The place is just always rumbling a bit. But this is probably the most important part of the whole earthquake discussion. It's not how many quakes, but what kind. See, 99% of them are what scientists call brittle failure events. It's literally just rocks breaking. The scary kind, the ones that could mean magmas on the move, are called long period events. So how many of those have they ever found at Yellowstone? The answer is a big fat 0, not a single one.
Okay, so if it's not a ticking time bomb about to blow, then what is it? This is where we need to totally reframe how we think about Yellowstone. It's not some monster waiting in the dark. It's an active, living volcano.
You want to see a Yellowstone eruption? Here you go. These are the real eruptions, the ones happening constantly. The geysers, the hot springs, that's the volcano breathing. It's the visible proof of this massive heat engine working away deep underground. It's a sign of a healthy, dynamic system, not a sign of doom.
So here's the bottom line. Yellowstone isn't a ticking time bomb. It's one of the most incredible geological laboratories on the face of the Earth. It's so well studied, so intensely monitored, that it's actually teaching us new things about our planet all the time.
And that really brings us to the final point, doesn't it? Maybe we've all been asking the wrong question. The question isn't, when will Yellowstone end the world? The much better, much more interesting question is, what is this incredible, living laboratory going to teach us next?